EGM Network.
This is Martha Matters. From real estate, healthcare, current events, taxes, or just about any topic, we're talking about it. Call us with any questions on just about any subject. Now, here she is, Martha!
Well, hi there, and hey, welcome. We're giving our final update on the hurricane insurance for those of you who didn't hear my previous forecast. So far, everything is coming true. We've been lucky with the winds coming from the east, northeast, or southeast, which is great, not the southwest. It's great quickly in return of, in the sense that you don't really have too many bugs in the Barrier Island area, but the minute you go inland, even as closer and closer to I-95 and west, you will find the bugs. But because the wind is coming from an easterly direction until now, the bugs are not bad on the US 1 corridor. By bugs, I mean the no-see-ums and the mosquitoes. But getting down to the hurricanes, I predicted there weren't, because of the easterly winds, we're not going to get formations of hurricanes in the Western Caribbean or in the Bay of Campeche of the Gulf of America, which is true. And Hurricane Arthur, that I said was a possibility, if anything forms in the Gulf, it's going to be the very far western part along the Texas border, which is exactly what Hurricane Arthur was, which wasn't much of a hurricane. It was really a tropical storm and a major rain event. And luckily, the areas it went by in Texas and northern Louisiana were dry areas that really needed the rain. So the Weather Channel didn't have much to boast about.
So that was our first hurricane this season.
That's right.
I missed it. This is the first I'm hearing about it.
Yeah.
So, sorry, Arthur.
But the Midwest and all of that, they have tornado and flooding issues, which is normally occurring for them in the earlier spring, not this late, like in June, the beginning of summer, as you know. So, but outside of that, Florida is in the clear. And I predicted and still predict that through August, it's going to be next to nothing on both the east and west coasts of Florida. There will be hurricanes come mid-July coming off of Africa, but they will be going north like they did last year in the middle of the Atlantic for quite some time. If anything, Bermuda needs to watch out, and Ireland and England need to watch out. By the time it gets that far north, though, it's usually a rain event without an abundance of wind. So that part of the hurricane is what I said before and is still in effect. The reason I'm giving an update is right now our wind is coming from the south, not the southwest, but the south, and at nighttime it comes southeasterly. If it keeps that up, fine, but I would rather it be more easterly and northeasterly, and I'll tell you why. We're in luck that the Sahara dust is coming, but believe it or not, the Sahara dust right now is over northern Florida up to South Carolina. I would rather the dust come further south. And the south winds right now are preventing that from happening, where central and south Florida are not seeing too much of the dust. But we do have the fringes of it. And I'm not upset. I think the next 4 weeks, all the way past the middle of July, we will be getting the Sahara dust, and hopefully it stays that way. The reason for the update in hurricane forecast is it looks more and more like by the second to third week in September, we're going to be switching to southwest winds, which means storms can form in the western Caribbean especially. And for some reason, if a hurricane comes from the southern areas and it stays south from Africa, very often it will turn around like one did last year, because the winds are southwest. By the time the storm gets to Aruba and south of Jamaica, all of a sudden the southwest winds turn it around. And yes, last year did a rather bad job of going by Jamaica, and even the Bahamas got some of it, because the southwesterly wind, instead of absorbing it into Mexico or Texas, it literally turns around. The Sahara dust prevented it from coming to Florida, but nevertheless, the poor Jamaica and even the southern Bahamas had to put up with a lot of flooding.
You know, I just talked with some people yesterday that said they were just there, and those islands and those places are still not back to snuff from what it was last year.
They're still recovering.
Yeah, they are still recovering, because didn't they get like a double or triple whammy with some of these hurricanes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They got a bad shot last year.
Well, it looks like if by the end of August and the second week of September, we have those southwesterly winds going east, we're going to have that same problem again if it stays south in the Caribbean. The weather station or weather the Weather Channel actually hasn't made up their mind what's going to be happening in the fall. But I am saying that we still have a very good chance of a lot of Sahara dust and no hurricane giving a direct hit on the East Coast. The only fear we have is the second half of October. That's October 15th to 30th. Usually the hurricane season backs down by then, but that's when the southeast strong winds from El Niño are going to be starting. And hopefully the good part of that is that by coming strongly toward the northeast, it will prevent storms from occurring and developing in the Bay of Campeche, and for that matter, the entire Gulf of America. So that is very good for the north part of Florida. You're not going to have an Ian coming up the west coast or something. Mm-hmm. So the fact that El Niño is forming late in the season, we may have rain events in November and December, but we're not going to have hurricanes. So I think that's a mixed bag. There are a lot of areas in Florida, the Panhandle, and the entire South that could use a little more rain. Not flooding, but it hasn't caught up from the dry weather we had this past winter. So the hurricane forecast for Central and South Florida is not bad at all. It's very good, and maybe northern Florida too. But there will be hurricanes, and I just hope the southern Caribbean isn't bombarded with a lot of them. The good part of the hurricanes coming south, if they go very much south, they end up going all the way into South America and become a rain event and quickly disappear. Northern Venezuela and Colombia have historically been sort of outside of the hurricane belt in the sense that they don't get the winds with the rain. The events quickly fall apart and get gobbled up. So hopefully that will happen this year. But if I have a worry for you at all, it's going to be from the second to third week in October all the way up until November. We need to really watch. We may get a hurricane, but I'd say right now we have a 65 to 35 chance of not getting a hurricane, but I can't say we have zero. There's a good chance that 35% is what I'm predicting, that we could get a hurricane in eastern and central Florida.
It seems like the last couple of years, I'd say 10, 15 years or so, that the hurricanes that we've been impacted by have come later in the season, or more action in later in the season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, call me crazy, but that's kind of what I remember.
The last 3 or 4 years, all the hurricanes that hit Florida were not transatlantic ones like we used to have. Mm-hmm. With Katrina and Andrew and all of them that came barreling right into the east coast of Florida. Instead, they were the ones that all formed in the Gulf of America. Then it was called the Mexican Gulf.
Yeah, the Gulf of Mexico, yeah.
And they're the ones that had turned around and come east, did severe damage all up and down the west coast of Florida.
Right, yeah. And
then came across Florida, and the worst one we had was 2 years ago, Hurricane Ian, yeah, really went down to nothing, even less than a tropical storm when we got it on the East Coast, but one of its major rain bands developed, and for the first time we had tornadoes all over central Florida, St. Lucie County, Indian River, and even Brevard County.
Right, yeah.
So,
and that literally came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. That broke off in the Gulf and was pushed by Ian behind it, and it got pushed right across the state of Florida into the east part of Florida. Right. And that was a fluke, like even the weather department couldn't understand.
Right. There was no forewarning for those hurricanes, and how many times did we hear this is the first time that that's happened, where the hurricanes preceded? I mean, the tornadoes preceded the hurricane.
Yeah, right, by a big rain band that developed.
Right.
And got stronger than ever.
Right, yeah. And a lot of devastation.
Mm-hmm. Devastation both on the west coast of Florida and the east coast.
Right.
It was really scary. In fact, we didn't even know about it at the time, about the hurricanes, the warnings came across, and a bunch of my friends and I were playing cards in the rec room. And they said, "Oh, there's a tornado warning for Indian River County,"
Right.
and we kept on playing.
Mm-hmm. Well, it wasn't really pinpointed. I feel the same way about you. And then when I realized when it hit, it was 2 blocks from where I lived, I was like, I didn't even know it was that close.
Yeah.
It was, that whole thing was
They
just
said
crazy.
Indian River County,
Right.
but didn't say where.
Right, and it's a good-sized county.
And in the past, tornadoes of a milder form have always been possible on the western part of the county, over
Right.
toward Yeehaw Junction.
Right.
So I only had one ear open when they said Indian River County.
Myself included, yeah. One ear open, yeah.
So
It taught us a
hopefully we will not, I don't think, have heavy hurricanes like that forming in the Gulf and going east. Let's hope not.
Right.
So that's my big prediction. But we've later in the season, we may or may not get the southwesterly winds. If we don't get the southwesterly winds, believe it or not, we're in the clear.
Yeah.
Like last year.
Fingers crossed for another year of not any really devastation. I don't want to see it happen to anyone. I was
don't
really
either.
sad yesterday to have that conversation when they said they still have not recovered from last year. I mean, that's...
Yeah, and
Wow.
especially with third world countries
Right.
like Jamaica, where tourism is 80% of their income and
Right.
business, that is a devastating event, no
Yeah.
doubt about it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's very, very interesting. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back. We have a little more information on this, so stay with us.
Welcome to Riverside Theater's Comedy Zone, where the comedy is wild, untamed, and downright hilarious. Hit the zone this Friday and Saturday night at 6:30 and 8:30 for the Treasure Coast's best live stand-up comedy show, featuring nationally recognized comedians with cabaret-style seating and food and drink table service. Buy tickets at riversidetheater.com and get ready for a night of non-stop laughs.
Hi, I'm Ryan, owner of Treasure Coast Tree and Land Services. When it comes to your property, there's a difference between some guy with a chainsaw and a certified arborist. Don't take chances with your property. Make sure your tree company is certified, licensed, and insured. Call the professionals, Treasure Coast Tree and Land Services. If you're in the IRC, call Treasure Coast Trees.
USA all day. Vero's 4th of July is going to be free, fun, and fire. The fun starts at Riverside Park at 6 with live music by Riptide, plus food trucks, pie eating, hot dog, and hula hoop contests. And enjoy a dazzling display of pyrotechnic pageantry with 4th of July fireworks at 9 o'clock. It's sponsored by the City of Vero Beach, Millennium Cremation Service, Formula One Window Tint of Vero Beach, Kiwi Car Wash, and Lori Davis of Dale Sorensen Real Estate. USA all day. July 4th, Riverside Park, Vero Beach.
Big news, Treasure Coast. Your favorite mortgage team just got even better. Introducing the same trusted faces you know and love, now with Union Home Mortgage.
Hi, this is Shannon Pohl.
Hi, this is Lucy Cranker. And these high-producing team members bring decades of experience, unwavering honesty, and hearts of gold to every home loan. And here's the best part. Same local processing, underwriting, and appraisers you rely on. Contact Union Home Mortgage.
Visit us online at shannonCpohl.com
and LucyCranker.com.
Okay, welcome back. Hey, we should all be praying and wishing for El Niño not to form till at least November. And we have yet to have a strong November hurricane because The seas are not as warm. The days are shorter. You have less energy from the sun. All of those things make a difference as the days get shorter. So let's hope and pray that that time that is now a question mark between the third week of September and the second week of October stays nice and calm, and that El Niño is not strong. About that time, it's just getting started, and it usually takes 3 weeks to be affected, or really affecting the weather, strong enough to affect the weather.
Yeah, in hurricane season, I know someone that said to me that it's November 1st is the end. It isn't. It's November 30th. So it is the whole month of November. We're still, chattering our teeth that something's going to happen or not.
But historically, we have yet to have them. We have close to a hurricane. One thing we have in November that South Florida doesn't remember much of, we get a lot of nor'easter formations up by Jacksonville, and the East Coast gets, especially if it runs close to the shoreline, that's very close to like a hurricane.
Or worse.
Or worse, and it can even have more flooding than a hurricane.
Absolutely.
So that is the problem of November and December on the central and northern East Coast of the U.S., unfortunately. Also, I want to mention to you a couple of things to look out for in this humid weather. Please don't allow yourself to stay sweaty for a long period of time. You start developing fungus anywhere on your skin. You can avoid that by using powder. You don't take pills. You don't have to take medicines, but it's common sense. Use the starch powder, which they now have. It's no longer talcum powder. And also, you have that antifungal cream that comes in a small tube over the counter in Publix and every pharmacy around. If you see the start of something like that, you can stop it in like 1 to 2 days. It is totally gone. There's another way you can stop it, which is very expensive. Fly to Las Vegas, which is as dry as can be, and in 2 days, all skin fungus is totally gone.
Mm-hmm. Well, you might win some money in Vegas to pay for that trip, though. You never know, Or just stay in Vegas. I don't know.
Yeah, stay in Vegas.
Stay in Vegas. When in Vegas, stay there. Yeah.
And it usually clears up other rashes, too, and eczema and what have you, because most rashes, including fungal spots, they all need moisture. And when the moisture is gone, that's all the powder does, and it's also what the fungal creams do. It just dries up the area and doesn't let humidity set in. Well, we believe it or not, our time is almost done, but I hope to all of you who have listened that you keep pretty much optimistic about the hurricane portion of our weather this season and really make the most of everything. And believe it or not, happy birthday, America. It is that time, and all kinds of beautiful things are happening. Let's be optimistic and enjoy.